Hi, welcome to Depression 1 Recovery, Key Question 2, Life During the Depression, Lesson 2. This is quite a big key question, so we've got a few lessons on this one so far, and today we're going to be looking at some of the hunger marches. And I want you to have a think and look at this picture for me, and I want you to think about a suitable caption. What do you think a caption for this picture could be? So like a newspaper caption. What would you say? So have a nice think, have a little look, and have a think about what you're seeing there for me. So we're going to look at the hunger marches today. I want you to start with to watch this video. Now there is a YouTube link there for you, or if you download this PowerPoint, it should be on that for you as well. And I want you to think about key dates. I want you to think about events. I want you to think about reasons. I want you to take a few notes for me about and think about the Jarrow Crusade. So what caused the Jarrow Crusade? Well, what I want you to do is look at pages 122 to 123 that I've attached with this PowerPoint. And I want you to create a comic strip of events that led to the Jarrow March. So in your books, I want you to create a comic strip of events. So why did the Jarrow Crusade happen? Okay, what actually triggered it? Think about Palmer's shipyard. Think about the unemployment. Okay, it was very, very high. Infant mortality, all that kind of thing. Malnutrition and poverty. Have a look at those pages and create a comic strip of the events that led to the march. I'm going to pause the video there, and I'm going to suggest that you pause it and come back to me in a sec when you're done. So attached to this PowerPoint as well, there is a map showing you the route that the Jarrow marches took. Okay, around your map, I want you to create some points about what actually happened. So a sort of timeline, if you will, around the map of what actually happened. Okay. And that's going to be using the information from here. So the Jarrow March was carefully planned and prepared, and the final route decided. 200 men marched from Jarrow to London, led by the Mayor, Labour MP Ellen Wilkinson, and town councillors. Ellen Wilkinson, a very prominent woman MP, one of the first women MPs actually. They used to call her Red Ellen for her slightly left-wing views. They marched in step in their best clothes. Now, they dressed in their best clothes. They had suits on. They were polite. They wanted to make the greatest possible impact of the people that they passed. They covered 450 kilometres in 22 stages. They were really surprised by the reception they received. They had really good support. They had a lot of sympathy. They were put up in church halls, given free meals, repaired their shoes as well for free. The Bishop of Ripon spoke out in their support. Newspapers published accounts of it. But unfortunately, when they arrived in London after 450 kilometres walk, they received very little support and not much sympathy from the members of the government at all. So I want you to have a read through these now, and I want you to create a table for me of achievements and limitations. So what were the achievements of the Jarrow March? What were the limitations of the Jarrow March? So I'm not going to read through them for you. I want you to read through them yourself, and I want you to put them into achievements and limitations for me. Okay, again, I'm going to suggest you pause the lesson to do that and come back to me when you're done. So it wasn't just the Jarrow Crusade that was the only hunger march of the time. There were several hunger marches, and there was a few from the Rhondda Valley. South Wales was officially declared a depressed area as miners in the Rhondda were reduced by 40%. So coal mining really was the main source of income for a lot of men in the Rhondda during this time. Women had suffered the most as they had the smallest meals. They had to make ends meet, as we've discussed earlier. Welsh women's health was the worst in Britain. Unemployed miners were living on the dole, which had been cut by 10%, and the means test, as we discussed last lesson, was also in place during this time. They actually wanted to work, these men, and they took part in hunger marches to protest. They were frustrated. They wanted work. And Wales was mostly affected by the Treaty of Versailles, because in the Treaty of Versailles, the Allies were taking coal away from Germany instead of Wales, because it was a sort of cheap mode of coal because of what they'd done to Germany during that time. Unemployment also led to poverty, which led to poor health. There's a rise in scarlet fever, rickets, malnutrition. People just went really, really hungry in the Rhondda Valley. Okay, so again, I want you to get that down into your book for me. So I'm going to suggest that you pause and get that done. So again, using pages 126 and 127 of the work I've attached here, I want you to create a timeline of the Rhondda hunger marches. Make sure you include Red Sunday, the Depression, the start of the march, how many marches there were, the MP for Rhondda Valley in 1936, and what the march achieved at the end. So again, I'm going to suggest that you pause the video and you get that done for me. Pages 126 and 127 that I've attached. Create a timeline for me. And just to end, I'm going to suggest that I want you to watch this video just to show you the start of the Jarrow March. It's on History Pod, the Jarrow March, if you want to get it on YouTube, or if not, download this video and watch it that way. And make some notes really about what you think the Jarrow Crusade achieved and if it was good. And then as a plenary for me, I'd like you to write down 5 things, draw on your hand, write down 5 things you think you've learned today for me, just to bring it all together. Thank you very much.